good morning. Welcome to Runway, episode 112. And today I am up at Coldwater Mountain. This is a mountain biking park facility, and it's not exactly a mountain, but it's higher than places around it, so I guess that's going to have to work for a definition. I was actually going to start this video a few minutes earlier than I did, but I was listening to a Billy Joel interview in the car about how he wrote Piano Man, so that was one of those moments where you just have to finish listening to it. But it was on YouTube, so check that out. It's actually really interesting. Back from 1994 when he was speaking at Harvard. I just never heard that interview, but it was really good. So if you're new to Runway, welcome. If you've been a listener to the podcast I've been doing for close to 10 years, then this is going to be somewhat familiar to you. But I am just out here for a walk, honestly. Got up and thought about going for a hike, and decided, well, I was actually gonna run this morning because I haven't run in like 2.5 weeks. But it was rainy and it's still kind of foggy out there, but it's just a beautiful fall day. Sorry about that. It's mid 60s. I was kind of hoping it would get cold and stay cold, but it didn't. It warmed up. But throughout this year, I went from not very much running about a year ago to really training for a marathon I ran in July. I ran another one in August, and I ran 2 in October. So I'm just taking a break from running. I have some pretty ambitious goals for 2019 with running, but I'm just enjoying not stressing my body all the time. So I'm out here because this is just a great day to come out for a walk. If you look out over the power lines, I mean, this just heads out over Anniston here in east central Alabama. And this is just an access road. It's obviously not been very well kept up, but I'm actually heading down this way as opposed to the trails because I got a favorite sitting rock. I don't sit on it often, but I miss it. It's been, I don't know, a better part of a year since I've just come down to my sitting rock and just sat. Because life is busy, right? And everybody's trying to tell you what's right and what you should think and how you should act. And I'm not one of those people. If you are on social media at all, people are clamoring for your attention to tell you things. And while I may be a voice in your life, I certainly do not want to tell you how to live your life. You can make those decisions. Instead, I try to live a full and productive and inspiring and challenging and meaningful life, all in the name of helping people and just living a good life. It's caused me to break out of some social norms and have kept me out of some social norms I never wanted to be in. But this video series, the podcast, even all the way down to my Twitter account, my Instagram feed, they're all resources for people who just want a positive and refreshing presence in their life, in their social media feeds. So a little about me, if you don't know me, or if this whole thing is new to you, briefly. We can get into more of it later. But my wife and I started a website called needfree.com. That's where the need free part comes in. Because for most of my life, even back into like my childhood, whenever I'd need something, I didn't have a lot of money. And I thought, somebody somewhere probably has whatever. Even if I was looking for just a bolt for something I was working on, I'm like, somebody's got that bolt in their garage. I don't want to go to big box store and get a bolt. But so the idea of just sharing our resources has been in my mind for a long time, and just years would go by, and I think, why doesn't somebody do something to create an easy online resource for that? Well, I finally got tired of hoping somebody else would, and said, well, I'll do it myself. I don't have qualifications. I'm not technically adept. I had a friend of mine design and build the website for me, and I host it. It's been online for a while now, and it's a little slow getting people to post, but it's there for people who want to post something that they're giving away for free, that you don't want to go throw in the landfill, that you don't want to go put on eBay or Craigslist. You don't want to have a yard sale, but it sits in your house and you just wish somebody could use it. So that's what needfree.com is about. It's also a place to check before you buy something, just to see if somebody else in your area has posted that. So it's just a great way to share the things we have. Especially as Americans, we have houses and garage and storage units full of just stuff, and we don't use most of it most of the time. And if you're like me, you have coworkers and friends who every now and then say, I'm looking for this, or I got to go get that, and you're like, oh wait, I got one, here, you can have it. It's just a very satisfying feeling when you're able to give something to somebody who needs it. Maybe it's not even a critical need. Nobody needs like an Xbox, but if somebody has something that they're just done with, that's a great way to share things that we have. So that's kind of the overall foundation for all of this. And, of course, the Facebook page and the Twitter account, the Instagram, and just all the projects, even the athletic endeavors that I'm doing, they're all just to serve as a demonstration for the kind of life that I choose to live. And that is just a life where, you appreciate things. All right, so check this out. Just so many different little details in life. I could sit here and look at that leaf, for a few minutes. And it's just an amazing leaf in a field full of leaves. And you can go to the botanical gardens like I did a couple weeks ago and look at things that are presented as such, but I really try to find just really, really interesting, neat, beautiful, meaningful moments and things, and especially details. Me personally, I just like the little details, and I look for them often. But here's the thing. They're so easy to miss because we're so busy, and we're so, generally, myself included, tied to our technology, that you have to take a day like today and say, I'm just going to step into a different environment than I usually find myself. And that puts me here. Even like these old, dead, dying leaves, are really, really interesting to me. So that's why I'm here. And if you look back up the hill here, you got the top of the power lines where we came from. And then I'm not actually going to go up the other side. I have before. It's just really steep and I don't feel like it. But at the bottom of this valley is a little access road or trail, I guess, that cuts over, and there is my sitting rock that I like so much. So just a little bit more. This is going to be kind of a good introduction to just some of the projects and some of the things that I'm doing. I've got a middle management job in retail. I've worked for the same company for 18 years, and I don't have this huge advertising budget to get this needfree.com like out to the masses. So what I'm doing is I'm relying on just grassroots efforts and support of people like you to make use of it and to tell people and to share. But it's occurred to me that the best ideas sometimes need a little extra push, a little oomph. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be regularly posting on social media just things to make your life a little better. Just photos, videos, clips, nothing with an agenda other than to just say, hey, thought this might make your day a little bit better. And you can share it if you want to, and if not, just enjoy what it is. So the running, I've been running for about 12 years, I guess. And I started with a 10K, and I pretty quickly did a marathon because that was a goal I set. And I have run several marathons and a 50K and a 40-mile trail race, and they were fun. And I just kind of plateaued off a little bit. But this year, in earnest, I really have set my sights on running 100 miles. Call me crazy, you won't be the first, but it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And this year I really trained hard without getting things out of balance, because I've done that too. And ran kind of progressively harder marathons, and not so much the terrain on which I ran, but kind of how I ran them. First one was an organized event up in Chattanooga, and then the next one I ran on my own out at the park. I did loop after loop after loop after loop at the park, and then the next one I did was kind of out and back from my house. I did, like, I don't know, it was like 4.5 miles out and back, like almost 3 times. But the last one is actually really neat, and I think is probably one of my most enjoyable marathons, and maybe one of my most enjoyable runs ever. And that was, I had a friend of mine who I work with, who lives down the street, drive me to where I work, which just happens to be 26.0 miles from my front door. And he dropped me off at 5 in the morning, and I had my hydration pack and all my snacks, and I ran home. It took 6.5 hours. I had 1.5 gallons of Gatorade and a bunch of calorie dense snacks, and had a great time. So that was the last run I did nearly 2.5 weeks ago. So from there, I don't know, like I said, I was going to continue to push and push and push and push until I did this 100 miler, maybe next October. But I took the week off just to recover. It was my vacation week, and 1 week turned into 2, and I'm really enjoying it. So while I could probably go run, it's just overcast, I probably wouldn't get caught in the rain. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this because I enjoy doing this, and I wanted to do this because I wanted to make this video. So that's the gist of it. I have all these ideas, but I've always had a lot of ideas, and many of them have come to absolutely nothing, but I've enjoyed the mental process of just thinking. And if I make the occasional comment that sounds like a bit of a slight against you or somebody else, I don't mean anything by it. It's just my opinion. But you know, there's a lot of people who are just spending hour after hour playing video games, or just doing things that aren't, I say productive, I just don't think that it enriches your life after a certain point. You know, I'm not against video games, it's just they don't do anything for me, and certainly wouldn't, 2 and 3, 4 hours of stretch. So I'm working on a model railroad in the upstairs bedroom in my house. We had an extra bedroom that we weren't planning on when we bought the house. And even as a kid, like maybe 11 or 12 years old, I had wanted to build a model railroad, and would go down in our stone cellar in our nearly 200-year-old house and just lay out things on this old wooden door on what I was going to build. And it never happened, just didn't have the resources. So, all these years later, I've got a place to use it. I have some limited resources, and I can progressively build this model railroad. So now I am working on this model railroad. It's the Generosity Township Community Railroad, modeled after the small New England town I grew up in. And this is my rock. It does not look like anything. It's a rock behind a tree off to the side of this trail. And I like it because it's maybe not even 10 minutes from where I parked. But it's a good sitting rock, So I can just sit here, and I can look at the trees, and I can look at this tree, and I can look at this interesting aspect of it, that the whole thing is like rotted out from the inside, and that it's like curling in on itself. And I can just enjoy it, and it's my tree in front of my rock. So I got the model railroad. I have several other projects that I can go into on separate videos. the running. I've got just a lot of different projects that I'm thinking of starting, and one of them kind of started a little bit, but I could definitely use your help with. This is very simple, but I'm thinking of doing a segment on this video series, which will probably be quite different, episode by episode, just something a little different. I want to put some music in here and do some different things, even traveling wise. But all the shows about how it's made, you go to the factory and watch how things are made. I've always thought those were interesting, but in my mind I've always had this kind of background dialogue going on where I'll take a detail of something and I want to know more about it, and I want to chase that as far as I can go. Like, for example, I was watching Carousel, the old musical. It was like a live stage production on probably Netflix, might have been Amazon Prime. And one of the lead characters had some nice shoes. I'm not a big shoe person, but I thought those are kind of nice shoes. And I got thinking about it. I'm like, what kind of shoes are those? Doesn't matter at all. I just wanted to chase that detail. And I get inspired about different details where I want to just find out more. So this is my rock. I'm not going to sit here and contemplate all day long. Let's continue to go here. But hang on, I got to jump down here. Let's jump together. Okay. I do like to move. I do like to walk. So we're just going to go for a walk down this trail. So anyways, I've got all these different details of things that just strike me, and they're curiosities, I guess, more than anything. But my idea is let's see where it goes. There was a particular building in Huntsville that I drove by about a week ago. I guess we got to figure whether we're going to go this way or this way. I'm pretty sure this way goes back up to the top, so we'll go this way. But I drove by this striking building one night after I was heading back home after a business trip, and it was after about 10 p.m. and it was I didn't know it at the time, but it was the Calhoun Community College Huntsville campus. And it was just a very well designed building, and I reached out to them. Have not heard anything back yet because it was pretty recently, but I wanted to find out, okay, who designed it and what were they going for? What was the look? So if I do these things, I will probably hit either some dead ends or come to some conclusions that are just not, very impressive. So let's do this. I'm at a crossroads. This goes further up. It's not exactly a trail. This definitely is, because there's a trail marker. And that definitely is. It says wrong way, but that's, for the traffic of bikes. Let's go this way. I think this is probably going to be the best way. So anyways, I just want to chase some details. In my mind, I could see this being a whole, maybe not network television show, because networks are really kind of going the way of the dinosaur. But I could see it being a thing. And do I want to make a positive influence, a positive impact in a lot of people's lives? Yes, I do. Am I trying to hit certain numbers? No, not really. Because I know I can make a big difference as an individual with the individuals that I come in contact every day. But if I can do that on a broader base by just putting videos like this out for you to watch, great. I have found that more and more and more of the media that I consume is online. I'm watching more YouTube videos. I'm watching more vlogs. I'm just reading articles more. Used to be I wouldn't read articles because I don't have time to read an article, but once you read what somebody's actually communicating, it's pretty interesting what they've got to say. So that's about it. I don't necessarily need to prolong this. I just wanted to kind of introduce myself. I'm Patrick. Hi. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear what you find valuable. And that's what I want to provide for you. I typically do my podcasts about once a month. I haven't done them recently. I kind of switched to this video version, and I'll probably stick with it. But if you subscribe, just check the links on the bottom of this video, and you can kind of keep up with everything we're doing with social media and our YouTube channel. I just want to kind of leave you with a parting thought that just stop and look at the amazing world around us. You know, just the leaves, just these leaves, the yellow and green leaves. It's got some holes chewed in them by an insect. They've been here, you know, ever since this spring. They're just amazing. We go chasing, honestly, feel-good stuff online. We want to laugh, or we want to be inspired, or we want to connect with somebody whose opinion is the same as ours, or fight with them if they're not. And that is wearying. That is just so tiring. I've intentionally disconnected from a lot of the politics. I have beliefs, and I have people that share my beliefs, and that's fine. I'm going to change the world in my own world, and I'm going to just be good to people. That was 5-6 years ago. You know, trying to figure out, you know, what am I going to do? At that time, I was in my mid-30s. How do I want to live the last 2/3 of my life? I decided, you know, I'm just going to be good to people. I'm just going to encourage them and hopefully inspire them, and just be good to people, you know. So if I can meet needs, great. If you can help me meet needs, great. I think you'll find that it's very, very fulfilling. So what I'd like you to do is, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Live the kind of life that you feel the most peace. And then I'm going to head back to the house. It's about, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning. One trait you'll find is that I'll start to wrap it up, and I'll continue to wrap it up for about 5 or 10 minutes after I tell you that I'm going to let you go. But I've been getting up early for work, and my body still thinks it's an hour ahead because we just changed the clock back. So this is the third day in a row I've been up at 3 o'clock. The first day I haven't had to be up at 3, but I got up and drank quite a bit of coffee and did some reading and just enjoyed the pre-dawn hours. So just that's just a nice puddle. You know, a lot of things that you do as a kid, you'll come back to you. You know, just the simple joys of being a child, especially if you had a really technology-free childhood. Get back to that. It is so fulfilling to create, even if you're not good at it. Paint and draw and sculpt and build and repair and clean, and just do simple things. You'll find so much fulfillment in it. So that is it. I promise. I'm officially done at this point. So my name is Patrick, and I really do appreciate your time. If you've given this video as long as you've watched it so far, I thank you so much from me and my wife and Need Free, and look forward to talking to you quite a bit more in the future. And until I talk to you again, I hope you have a great day.